Deerses.
Which kinds?
I think. I don't know what kind.
Boy kind or girl kind?
Behind the tree kind. It's an Owings Millie and
The girl kind.
there's some other, her posse's coming in.
No, boy kind.
Boy kind.
There's a whole cell of males.
Cell?
Cell is, I believe, what they call it.
The deer herd.
I'm putting a tip comment in.
Oh yeah, please do that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you should totally tell them to send us money. It'd be awesome if they did, but maybe they won't. I don't know. Heather, why is your child staring at me?
Because he knows at some point you need him.
What is the pertinent point at which we need him?
I don't know. You tell me.
Send up some sort of signal flare of some sort? We'll get started shortly. Welcome to any of you who are looking at our blank screen. We've always sort of wondered what to do with this countdown time. We don't really want to start early. You know, we want to give you time to tune in, and it gives us time to press some buttons and share things. And actually, that's what you could be doing right now. You could click that share button, and that helps us out a lot, just to let people know that we exist still. We're out there in the world on Heather's deck, all up in the deck, not a magic deck. Heather, what kind of bug is that? Oh, good Lord.
It's a fly.
Oh, I should grab some water.
Yes. Hi, guys. Oh. Hey, Undiscovered Music. We met them at Surfa.
Yeah, if you don't know, undiscoveredmusic.net is like doing a wonderful job of really supporting a lot of independent music streams and things like that. Special thanks to Paul, who's been, I think, hand coding all of that, or creating all of that single-handedly. Maybe he's got another set of hands, but I'm sort of amazed by what he does. Definitely let us know in the comments if this is just obnoxious. Like, we could mute at the beginning, but I kind of like talking to the darkness. Oh, crap. Well, you better drop that screen. Click on brand, and then switch to the overlay. There you go. Awesome. Awesome.
Holy crap. So we've done a slightly different angle tonight so that we can be closer to you.
Ish.
If I look like a hobbit at any point, we have done a forced perspective situation. I am actually closer to you.
You shouldn't look. You should look bigger than normal.
I am.
I should look tiny.
Who
Our
needs-
view looks different than your view. That's the.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like Kristen's like behind my shoulder.
But what's really nice is that now I'm not like blocking Heather's face every time I do this. And,
Yes.
we're trying to work it out so that.
Now it just looks like you're gonna hit me in the head, but you're not.
Oh! We could do a lot of stage fighting stuff.
Which is super appropriate to this album.
Oh.
This would be the hitting everybody in the head
Kind of, yeah.
album.
So this is probably the first really fully realized ilyAIMY album that we're going to play through. This was an album called The Fifth Circle, and I think it was one of the first things in which really Heather and I had a much more equal footing in how we like created everything from the writing, being really equal, to how we decided on the production and everything like that, down to it was her car that we backed up into a tree so we could angle the headlights to take the photograph to inspire the painting, to model for the painting for the front cover. So, important little bits like that.
And where was it recorded?
Where was it recorded? Well, it wasn't called Jasmine. Pure Sound Studios in
Like
Odenton.
Odenton,
Maryland. Yeah. It was my first experience with a basement studio. And he was somebody, Jeremy was somebody I'd worked with a couple times, Jeremy Hesford. And I think this is maybe his first, was it his first digital album with us? I'm not sure.
yes.
I think that might be right.
This album predates me being in the band,
Yes.
so I don't know all the history behind it.
He had great
me.
orange couches.
Yes. They were so good.
Shree spent a lot of time asleep on that couch. We'd be like, dude, so what did you think of that last track? And he'd be like, whatever, man. Anyways, we're paying for this humor. It's all the past tense, beautiful ones, where they're working in these bars. They keep the lights dimmed down, 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 in the hope that the years don't show. And they raise their eyes in revolution, and then they open up their mouths. Gutter baptism won't ever save you, baby, but it won't be suicide if you will drown. And I'm too old to play the games you play, my friend. I'm too young to turn them down. You wanna love one of these rules is where it pleases. I'll try. All the young ones, if they are still young enough to run, well, they're better than me still. They're hungry eyes seek out the strongest, longest, best. They're just angry at the rest. They open up their thighs in revolution, and then they open up their mouths. Well, some will learn to fight down, down upon their knees. Most will just drown. And I'm too young to play the games you play, my friend. I'm too old to turn you down. You wanna love one of these rules is where it pleases. I'll try. You always cut the deepest, yet you always fly away. Try your flesh out on me, they won't burn you anyways. They won't burn you anyways. They won't burn you anyways. me and all this noise I bring. I'm still working in these bars. I keep the lights dimmed down, 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 in the hope that the years don't grow. And I raise up my voice in revolution, and then I open up my mouth. I'm one more angel in these legions, and I'm just waiting to be drowned out. Yet I always cut the deepest. Yet I always fly away. Try your flesh out on me, and I would love you anyways. And I would love you anyways. And I would love you anyways. Press a button that I forgot to press.
Oh no.
I forgot to press record.
That's okay. I need a moment. I need a moment to prepare.
Yes,
So-
Heather's hair is shorter. Your
Oh,
hair
who-
has
yes.
been noticed. Edward Sable.
Yes. I figure it's going to be a long apocalypse, so I got a real short haircut. I want a girl with a long apocalypse and a short haircut. Anyway, so preparing for this, we start to get into the songs that we have not played, in years. In years. We're owing some years.
I don't think we have played this next song with me until now, because I had to learn it. And today I learned, so a lot of the songs on this album are much faster on the album than we are playing them. This one I clocked at 143 on the metronome, the album version. I think we're playing it around 116, which is much more reasonable. Like,
Just one of the things that
It
changes
really-
in 16 years.
I heard this, I was like,
No,
were you
14,
guys, was there a
14.
lot of cocaine going on? Like,
Yeah.
man, it was
Rage.
fast.
Cocaine and rage.
We were always really straight edge. That was the funny thing about us, because that just was not
This is an
part of
album
our-
written long before I ever took my first drink.
Yes, yes. No, it's been 14 years. I
Try
had to
things
think
out
about
there,
it
yeah,
for
okay.
a second.
I miss playing this song. It's a lot of fun to play.
Sorry, I gotta move. I have a physically awkward situation. Hold on.
Well, that's what she said. Aw, this album was written before That's What She Said was a thing.
Yes, it is actually. Whew. All right.
Written before she said anything.
It's written. This was my first. She said. I said it loud and fast. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a beauty to soft words with knots that entangle. Easier by chisel, easier by saw. But press a finger deep and you make even dent the surface. Perforating as a rock, one scratch removed from the dust. No, my grain is not complicated, but my heart is solid and well made, pleasantly understated. And I might be the wood, but you're the lathe. No, I'm not too proud to bend to fit the space I'm given. You can cut the dovetails right into my spine. For you, I would crush myself to paper and drink up your every word like wine. No, my grain is not complicated, but my heart is solid and it is well made. And I might just be hardly feel to warm you by the fire that you make it. Every day I get this new but maybe more amazing. Promise I'm in progress. Promise I'm in progress. I might be worth waiting. Oh, I wish I could have been born purple-hearted. Love to bleed like that. Hearing everyone say how pretty. As they saw me in half, I'm sweet as sunset. Take me down when the year is over. One more past tense passion, it's time to put away all the sparkle you put on me. His back's up for next year's love and next year's street. Take me down when the year is over. I'm just one more past tense dash and it's time to put away all the sparkle you put on me. His back's up for next year's love and next year's tree. Now I'll let you put me in a box, just as long as it is mine. One day they will bury me in a redundant skin. People are burying me all the time. I don't know where I started believing to be good you have to be defeated. So I am good but I am lonely. I am good but I am lonely. Yeah. I am good but I am lonely. Yeah. Tried to slip a splinter underneath your skin. You weren't looking. You weren't looking. You weren't looking at me.
I've always wanted to play that with a like.
Anything is possible. Should
My
we,
foot doesn't move
should we
that
talk
fast.
some stuff about the songs?
A little bit, if you got
So-
something to say.
Paul Mishler would like everyone to know that That's What She Said dates back to 1969,
What?
actually, and was popularized
Of course, it dates back to 1969.
in Wayne's World. For
what?
us,
Oh,
for
popularized
Wayne's
by-
World,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
But for us, it wasn't a thing.
For us, it's a very specific thing. So certain shows you may have heard me talk about this. So when we were not on tour, I would substitute teach. And one of the classes I substitute taught for was percussion ensemble. And percussion ensemble, generally speaking, kind of a boys' club, really only a couple girls in the whole thing. And I would notice as I was
Sticks.
teaching,
Sorry.
every once in a while I would see a boy do this. And so I went to the department chair because I had known him a long time, and I said, in percussion ensemble, what does this mean? And he said, oh, they've figured out a way to like say stuff without getting in trouble. This means that's what she said. And I came up like to one of the boys in the hall one time and I was like, going awfully fast, don't you think? He like goes white. I said, no, you don't understand. I think it's brilliant. And it became part of our sort of band vocabulary, and we have passed it around on tour also. So that's what she said that is ours is that one. Hi, Boomer. So Pine, we can, you guys who are watching, you've been with us through a lot. I think we can talk some honest stuff and it's okay. Pine was inspired by an extremely specific incident that enraged me when Rob and I used to date.
I know. Yeah. Everything was fine. Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything was not fine. We get managers of other acts call us and say, oh my God, my leads who were a couple just broke up. How did you keep your band together?
It's happened at least 3 times people have called us.
Yeah. And we're like, care about the art more than the screwing.
Right. Well, what we said is you have to love what you do together more than whatever bullshit there was. And we did. We absolutely did.
Do.
And do.
There's less bullshit now, which is nice.
Way less, man. That's the really nice thing about getting older. Limited drama is a really excellent feature of aging.
Well, the drama expands to other areas, but
I live in a house full of teenagers. I assure you there's less drama.
This is a song, this is an old song. This Fifth Circle, I brought a lot of like old stuff to the table. I think I wasn't writing as much, or maybe the stuff that I was writing, I was like, I'm not sure that I want to share this because we're trying to eliminate our drama.
And I was also speaking up about old stuff of yours where I'm like, this is really good. Why aren't you playing this? Why aren't you doing this?
So March of the Rabbit is a song that was originally recorded through telephones at Micah because
Maryland
I liked
Institute
this.
College of Art.
Maryland Institute College of Art, my art school that I went to in Baltimore. And all the vocals were recorded through telephones because I thought the quality was cool, and the guitar sounds, I got a cool distortion by recording it through a ceramic tube and an SM57, which is the only microphone I had at the time, and at a guard desk at 4 a.m, because that's what I was doing with my life, was I was working a guard shift. And man, you can get some really cool background noise. If you're very, very good, or you're Brennan, you might hear this recording sometime, but the original one was nuts. Fifth Circle did a perfect upgrade, and yet never quite captured the bizarre spirit of the original.
And I loved singing this one with you because it felt like a kind of duet because I was emulating what was a call-and response on the original recording.
Yeah. I, to this day, probably don't entirely know what this song is about, but it's definitely about revolution. It's definitely about burning Micah to the ground. That's the White Tower. The guy who keeps leaping back, well, the president of the school was named Lazarus.
Oh, right. Lazarus and Fear. Fear makes an appearance on this album, too, who was another teacher.
Beyond belief, it had no mind. The rabbit brought itself to bear on his whitened eye. Frustrated grew in numbers, multiply, we keep them running. We focused on his head, his brain was reeling, it's all too real. Gunshots spoke, focused on his lack of mind. He came dying, we helped him die. Frustrated beyond belief, the knife blade, it simply went too deep. The rabbit's eyes rolled.
The rabbit's eyes rolled.
Heads were rolling. Eyes were flooding. I'm about to blow. Eyes were flooding, and I've just about reached that point. City burns tonight, I cried. Paws at my side. I was lying soiled on my side. Claim I want your skin. I am all that's left of sin. And I get lost in my fight, yeah, I get lost in my fight. Taking the Great White Tower wasn't easy as it looked.
Didn't look too easy.
The man kept leaping back.
Man kept leaping back.
His eyes were full of doubt, but his teeth were full of rage. And he came flagging.
He came flagging.
From so high. It was a great day, much grayer than you might think. The heat was too much. They all dropped, you couldn't take the heat, and the rabbits dropped like rabbits, and you know they dropped like flies, but we kept them coming, kept them coming. City burns tonight, I cried, paws at my side. I was lying soiled on my side. Come in, I want your skin, I am all that's left of sin. I get lost in my fight, yeah, I get lost in my fight. the rabbit took too long. Satisfaction was guaranteed. They marched him along. They stalked him along. They left the rabbit to the dead. They were lying, rotting on their sides. They left their skulls. They still line that. They still line that. They still line that. They still line that road. I bear is too much to bear. I fear I hear and all falling through. We are watching, yeah, we are watching with our bright pink eyes. Our bright pink eyes, oh, will I frighten beyond belief and head your mind. You drop like flies. We burn the tower down. 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 The city burns tonight, I cried. Paul's at my side, lying soiled on my side. And I've been left for dead more than once. I've lost my head, but I won't lose my fight. No, I won't lose my fight. I won't lose my fight. I won't lose my fight. No, no. Whoa, no. Sorry, I lost it for a sec. I was
Welcome to our band
This
breakfast.
is cool. What's that?
Welcome to our band breakfast.
Yeah, no. Oh, you know, it would actually kill me if I played anything the same way twice.
Hee. Patrick Payton said that song made his cats hide in the bedroom.
Nice.
That, I think, goes in the press package.
Hi, Laura Hobson and the Hobsons.
Hey. Oh, I long for your cookies. I've been thinking about ordering them, but I'm poor and I want to pay you for it. So it's on my list. Fun fact about me. And it's actually, I have to write a song coming up, and I have to talk about my quarantine experience in a positive way. And one of the things I did was I made, at the beginning of quarantine, I should take a picture of it at some point, a list, and I titled it 50 Ways to Live Through Quarantine. Like 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. 50 Ways to Live Through Quarantine became 75, and I've accomplished over 40
Nice.
of the list. So, right.
I've been too busy to make a list. I've been just living through quarantine.
This, thankfully, we actually have picked back up lately.
This is an interesting, I'm not going to get into it right now, but I'm fascinated by the concept that this is an excellent example of the ills of listening to false
Talk
information.
show psychics.
I was going to say false information. The upgrades, or the, a made-up update.
But I do think it's interesting that it took about 10 years for this song to be kind of revealed as inaccurate. I mean, it's sort of fantastical, and this song really inspired the imagery for the cover of Fifth Circle, because it was about the story of a girl who had been thrown into a lake so as her murder would not be discovered. And I had seen a movie called The Gift, where when they bring the girl up out of the water, she's been wrapped in chain to weigh her down. And so that image really stuck with me, and became the basis for sort of the visuals for the album. It's interesting to play this song knowing that she was fine and is fine, and it was actually her mother who died waiting. So in the song, she comforts her mother, which now playing it so many years later seems all the more appropriate. So.
It's cold down here, and I am used to the chill. And the fish are more friendly now than when at first I fell. The weeds are quicker to dance, and when my eyes first closed, it is my secret hiding place. Nobody else knows. It's dark down here, but I am used to the dim. Teach me how to swim. And I can't stay under long enough, and even you or die. I'm heavy as a stone, and light as a lily pad. Don't worry, brother, I have found another. Find me in the water. You'll find me in the water. Oh. I know you told me not to stray, way too far from home. Stay away from strangers who would do me harm. But I promised I could be lady of the land. Nobody lied because I died just up there in the cave. The storm kept his promise, carried me to the deep. How I watered flowers in my hair, but between my feet. To cry for me, mother, I found another home. You'll find me in the water. You'll find muddy water keeps a secret that I feel like enough. Throw away the key. Hush now, hush now. Go to sleep. So I like to tease the rowboats, tickle their bellies wide. fish from hook and net as boatmen turn their eyes. They blame it on the hour, on the season, on their luck. But the trick is it's me all along. They never think to look. So if you want to find me, to play with me once more, then wait until the floods rise, wait upon the shore, and I will come to you when you know nothing but doubt. A storm brought me in, and a storm will bring me out. Don't lose sleep for me, mother. I have found another home. Find me in the water. Find me in the water. Find me, you'll find me, you'll find me. Find me in the water. You'll find
Did you just?
I tried to off mic, but I probably didn't. Give me a sec. I'm going to change our let more light into that camera.
No problem. So let me think. There was something interesting about In the Water also. In the Water got recorded. The demo got recorded in a schoolhouse in Colorado. One of our early years on tour. Because I wrote it while we were on tour. I couldn't deal with the hour change, and so I was up stupid early, like watching talk shows. I was watching Montel Williams, so that came from a talk show psychic. Interestingly enough, also, 14 years will show you bizarre things like Sylvia Browne was wrong about the drowned girl and right about the pandemic. Ish. Well, you know,
Very
as
ish.
right as.
There's a lot, like, I hate that meme going around because it's cuts and pastes between her and like 3 other sources. So it's like, yes, the one sentence that she said is sort of right, but like the 3 or 4 other sentences from other sources, like, it's a bullshit thing. Anyways, this is neither here though. This song is a weird song. In the Water has a lot of weird history to it. Valeri has a lot of weird
Or are you
history
going to show
it.
them stuff close up?
I don't know that I can get up close with that. Actually, Kristen,
Okay.
turn on that camera for a sec. So what you can do, see that little
We brought primary
add to
sources.
stream? And yeah, okay. So yeah, can you figure it out? All right. So are you actually able to show that? Not really. Yeah, I don't think you can show that. So this is the locket that I almost burnt, but didn't actually burn. No, it's not going to focus that close. Yeah, give up. I'm sorry. There's ways to do this, but I'm not going to fool with it right now. So Valeri was a woman with whom I was smitten in college, and then she went home. She went back home to Florida. And we wrote back and forth to each other for years, I think. And we had similar handwriting, like tiny little black handwriting, and we write lots of different things. And she introduced me to things like Stone Temple Pilots and Smashing Pumpkins, and like, you know, that's that age. And then she stopped writing. I was smitten with her not just because she was an amazing woman, but also because she was an amazing artist. And this song is partially inspired by the fact that I woke up one morning to find an 8-foot tall cadaver made out of chicken wire and a couple of other questionable materials with a red pulsing heart in the middle, and it was towering over me. And so that's the monster in the corner, by the way, just in case you wanted context. So Valeri disappeared out of my life after a while. The writing just stopped, and I figured, well, she just lost interest in my existence. years go by. I think like 10 years, 15 years, 10 years maybe. And I get a letter that's her address and her name on the return address, but it's blue loopy writing. And I'm like, what is this madness? And I open the letter, and I start reading, and she's like, hi, my name is Valeri, last name redacted because you don't get to know it. Don't be a stalker. Don't be weird. Just because I've tracked you down on Facebook, that doesn't mean I'm going to let you.
Somebody saw a deer behind us.
Cool. My name is Valeri, and you clearly were very important to me at one time. I found all these letters, and I just wanted to let you know why I'd stopped writing. And she had been in a nightclub dancing, and a giant steel moon decoration thing came pulling out of the ceiling and smashed into her head and gave her like, it erased her previous life, which is just an insane thing to think about, potentially quite literally. And she didn't remember me, but she found all these letters, and with the settlement money from this thing, she went from being an artist because she didn't sculpt anymore, she didn't paint anymore, she did none of that anymore, but she still appreciated it. She made a gallery down in Florida and became an art appreciator and no longer an artist. We stayed in touch for a little while, but it just was she was a totally different human being, which is nuts. This song combines a whole lot of different things, including the fact that I dreamed an image very similar to the cover for years before I met her, and then thought, oh my God, this is the girl from my dream. So this is a weird song.
That's a big deer. It's a big stag.
You can't see them from your angle, but maybe they'll walk back.
He's almost in key.
Flesh in my bones is not quite as thick as it used to be, and some days I think that the ridges and the tips of my fingers have been worn away. I load my back with 16 tons. I'm listening hard for the camel crack. Fear brought the church to me. I thought I'd touch stained glass for far too long. My fingers yellowed, my fingers stained. You died in glass that was stained that color. I found you soft in a cold, dark place. I saw white, I could barely see the whites. In a cold, dark place, I could not find the softest part. Your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes. In my bones is not quite as lush as I thought it was. Now I find I'm as soft as a cat. I load my head with 16 tons. I'm listening hard for that I hope is there. I've been told what to do, what to be, what I cannot be. I have been on many things, I don't even know what I want to be. I hope I am much stronger for these things that I have been. too clear, too dear, too cold. I fear I see the bottom of the sea, a thing too clear. She was ice green, clouded over. She faded fast as she faded, fast as the sun came clear. 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 I haunt this photograph that binds you to me. I haunt this dream that I thought was part of you and me. I burn the lockets, I collect this ash, I hold the dust, I hold it dear, till this sun came clear. Till the sun came clear. Till the sun came clear. Till the sun came clear. This photograph that binds you to me. Yeah, I haunt this dream that I thought was part of you and me. I burn the lockets, I collect this ash, I hold the dust, I hold it dear, until this sun came clear. Till the sun came clear. Yeah, no, I held you so dear, till the sun came clear. There in the sky, a small blonde skull turned to me. It's time for me to leave. Nothing left but the creature in the corner. Nothing left but the beast behind the door. I let loose, I screamed at the storm. I could have saved her, I could have saved her, I could have saved her, I could have saved her if I only had the time. If I'd only had the time. If I'd only took 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 the time. The flesh in her bones is no longer on her bones. It has seeped, been stripped, it is found and wound its way. And open the eyes lie alive at the bottom of the sea. They lie accusing me. They lie accusing me of everything that I wish I could be in her eyes. In her eyes. In her eyes. In her eyes.
What is the giggling? There's so much giggling.
Sorry, I'm just imagining Sharif's part
yeah,
there.
we miss Sharif. Kat is talking about her 14-year-old ilyAIMY baby.
Holy crap. Wait. So who's that?
Kat, or Megan.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Meg.
Rowena. Rowena is the 14-year-old ilyAIMY baby. I have a 14-year-old pseudo ilyAIMY stepchild creature. We will at some point parade him in front of the camera and be like, this is how old our album is. Our album is a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Which seems extremely appropriate.
Kind of, yeah. Eventually, our album is going to be old enough to vote, and we'll be sort of like, but you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. The rest of you should. Album shouldn't. The fifth circle was named after the fifth circle of hell, which is the circle of the sullen. What is it? The sullen,
The wrathful and the sullen.
Which
So-
we were so stupid pleased when we found because it was also the fifth album, sort of, with the majority of those same band members, yeah. So there was a lot of things that went into that, and then when we found out that it was the wrathful and the sullen layer of hell, we were just like,
The water level as well.
it was just too perfect.
It's the river Styx, basically, is the fifth circle. Gotta love Dante's Inferno. This is one of the very, very, very few just love songs, and I haven't written a lot since, but this one I never get sick of playing it. About an ill-fated camping trip, and I did not quite take 2 full states by moonlight, but I took a very, very uncrowded highway by full moonlight for as long as I could. This is really a song about kind of falling in love with the touring experience.
So tired of water, 3 inches of rain, and the passenger side, intestines of cassette tapes, shiny at the curb, begging just one more play, begging just one more ride, but I just keep driving. I just keep driving. You close your eyes, 3 inches away, and the passenger side, James is on the radio singing, "Don't let me be lonely," as I turn off the headlights, take 2 states by moonlight. I can't stop driving, I can't stop driving. And you will say, baby, it's alright. The rain subsiding, might even be dry tonight. Yeah, yeah. My wheels uneven, touching the ground, flying on faith that the engine will hold, keep us going, keep us going. You say, baby, it's alright. The rain subsiding, might even be dry tonight. running straight line. No corners, but this quarter tank. We search our empty hands as Illinois is overflowing. We hope for a little change here inside so we can keep driving. We can keep driving. You say, baby, it's alright. Rain subsiding, night in vain. Try tonight, yeah.
That song is probably one of the most consistently in our set list for over the years, right?
It's the good groove. It's a nice
don't-
little waltz.
I don't regret it at all. I love playing that
It's
song.
fun to go back and listen to the Fifth Circle version though, because it's darker. Well, you have Sharif first of all, which involves the Sharif chord. We actually change a
Yes.
chord, and it's a darker.
What did we change
chord.
it to? You
It's
know.
like a
You take the really
sharp minor or
nasty
something, I don't know.
center of it.
And I think that's one of 2 songs on this album that has guest harmony vocals
Yes.
by Amy Law,
Amy Law.
our friend Amy.
And it's funny to see like people in the list where I'm like, oh no, we met you while this was being written. You know, we met Susan Schneider while we were writing that song because it was that trip and all of its insane weather and camping in Illinois.
Granite City.
Granite City, Illinois when I'm feeling fancy.
How people doing out there?
Good.
Good.
Oh, this
Chris
is cool.
says guitar so fluty.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta read you.
This song is about me. Bull crap.
I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah.
But I love it, and I've always loved it.
I'm hoping. Well, we'll see how this one goes. I think it'll go great. What could possibly- yeah, it's gonna be tasty. No, I was a slacker in certain aspects of this, and I kept practicing this song on my acoustic because I suck.
No, you're optimistic.
I guess. It's a song called Pocketing. It was written on a baritone guitar. And then for a long time, we couldn't play it because the baritone didn't fit in the car.
Yes.
We would tour, and we would leave that guitar at home. And so Pocketing never found its way into any of our set lists for various reasons, partially because it was about her.
I
But-
liked it though. I had a
Good,
whole
good,
rule.
good.
The song could be about the other person, and I think you and I both subscribe to this. The song could be about the other person as long as we legitimately thought it was a good
Great song. Yeah. Good song. It's an okay song.
I love this song.
And yeah, so there's a number of songs that I've written on baritone, and then we don't travel with the baritone, and then I never remember the song. But then I bought the electric baritone in the last couple of years. Actually, so the story of the baritone guitar, I bought this on a whim, and I was just like, oh my God, this is the best guitar. Then I ran out of money, as musicians do. By the way, tipping link. We do have a Venmo at ilyTips. We have paypal.me/ilyAIMY. And if you're just like, oh my goodness, I use the PayPal app, but I can't even figure it out, Rob at ilyAIMY.com. You can throw that into PayPal. But anyway, so over the years, eventually we stopped traveling around and I had rent again. And the rent was not onerous, but there was a point at which I fell behind on it and I was like, well, how about this fine guitar? And I think that guitar bought me like 3 months of rent. Now, for better or for worse, the
hey,
same
John
individual,
Platt. Sorry,
like
I'm just-
10 years later, then had money problems of his own and I got to buy my guitar back, which I guess I'm glad that worked out that way. But more recently, I fell in love with this guitar at a shop in Catonsville, and it is the electric version baritone, and it's a cool guitar. It's enough about guitars. Pockets of your old jeans are all the things that I might need. And cash and coins, and nails and strings. I keep my courage in your pocket, my armor and my strut, right next to lint and fingertips and change. And so I lay back and feel the creeping, crawling feeling as it all just slips away. Give me time. It's a slow drift motion. Condoms, nails, and guitar strings that migrate slowly around the room, from bed to floor and back again. The nails, they are telltale. I keep them within reach, but where I keep the knife is all they ever seem to need to know. But what is this? A gift, a shelf, an open box? Consolidation, it is my enemy. I am cancer, creeping, crawling, feeding. I am hard to remove, rooted deeply. And I'm dreaming, nightmare screaming. I think you're dreaming of me leaving. Pockets of my old jeans are all the things that I will need. Cash and coins and nails and strings. I keep my courage in my pocket, right next to space. Right next to space for fingertips and change. And I stand up, feel the creeping,
crawling feeling. No gift like that or gravity to keep my conscience clean. And I stand up and feel the creeping, crawling feeling. No gift like that or gravity to keep my conscience clean.
It's such a good song. All right. Switch guitar time. Everybody switches guitars.
Oh, well then Kristen, talk to these fine people.
Yeah.
Hello, Dave Benham. You might be our only no, you're not our only YouTube viewer, but only YouTube commenter. I have the admin power on our StreamYard interface, so I'm like mad with power. Yeah, it's unknown and strange.
Kristen is the goddess.
Yes.
Kind of our oracle, actually. Like, you know, you're the mouth of ilyAIMY.
She's the fingers of ilyAIMY. We the mouth.
Dude.
Oh, jeez.
What's OGs?
I just love this song.
Yeah. Oh, so we put this one on our live album that is available on Bandcamp. It's a redo with some added things. And this Friday is a Bandcamp Friday where they waive all their fees, so all the money for Bandcamp sales goes to us and other independent artists. So you can get our stuff, and then, very exciting, Heather is starting her own Bandcamp site, heatheraubreyloyd.bandcamp.com, and she will be releasing her
The
solo
10-year
album,
anniversary
10 year of samples.
of samples.
So definitely go there on Friday and check that out. It's going to have lots of extras. If you already have the album, you will get lyrics and some stories behind the songs and links to what inspired them, and she's been busy.
Yes. Like, for example, Spinning was inspired by a George Carlin bit about how there is no blue food, and I've included the link to watch the original, bit if you've never, seen that bit or heard of George Carlin, depending on your age bracket.
Man, this is nuts. We're only halfway through the album.
I know.
I don't want to talk about it.
We just flipped the record over. It's good. It's not how records work, by the way, because records can't have nearly this much material on them.
And ilyAIMY
stop asking.
ilyAIMY did the 14-song album. That was our thing. Like, it was 14 songs, basically almost every time. We were not a fully even split yet because I still was like racing to catch up with Rob's catalog. He had so many songs, and I was just really starting to add them up. And I noticed Susan said something about, you met us earlier, and you did, but I think the writing of this song started before we met you. I mean, that's the thing about some of the songs that saw the albums. They were not in their finished forms. He. So No Place is Home. Interesting fun facts about me, and I know this stuff. You grow as an artist. My enunciation when we first started was terrible. I mean, awful. And people, tried to help me with it and commented on it and stuff like that. And this was the song. This was the song that broke me of the worst of my enunciation.
Do you remember what
habits.
mine was?
I do. Because it's the Pirates and the Goblins is the line in the song. Somebody said it was like, it sounds like parrots and Germans. Parrots and Germans.
Well, I was going to say mine was with Valeri, and someone was like, well, but I don't get the ice cream line. And it's like, ice
thought it
cream.
was
Ice cream
thought it was
clouded
ice cream.
over.
Shit, I'm still doing it. Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
I mean, I learned, but
Yeah,
early on.
Yeah, dear. Yeah, dear. Let me know if I've got to turn up the lights again.
So yeah, this was the song that helped me with my enunciation. I Am a Halloween Baby. Rob and I, one of the first places when we were on tour, we went to Sleepy Hollow, and that helped me finish this song, which is about the fact that I imagine Father Time for a Halloween baby must be the Headless Horseman, and so that is where this song came from.
days are getting cold. There'll be coats this Halloween, and all the children are disappointed. All their sequins will go unseen. And the pirates and the goblins will steal your fire away from me. Leave me nothing but silent faces, all used up of their flame. There's a whisper in my blood, something darker in the road. If I can just make it across the bridge, for that horseman runs me down, runs me down. Leaves the night, the only ones who are losing all their green, shedding red glitter from my shoes. No places on this Halloween, and I cannot reattach all that has fallen away. That road doesn't lead me back, and there's nowhere I can stay to rest. Stop this pounding in my chest. There's a whisper in my blood, something darker in the road. If I can just make it across the bridge, for that horseman runs me down, runs me down. No place is home, no place. No place is home, no place is home. Please invite me to come inside. I can stay young one more night underneath this half moon safety. Gather the rest of our lives. There's a whisper in my blood, something darker in the road. If I can just make it across the bridge, for that horseman runs me down, runs me down, 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 down.
Omen, it's so cute. It's also funny because it's like now my dad guitar is the big like thick neck, and I'm thinking like as I'm playing this like, oh man, I have changed my guitar preferences over the last 14 years. This next song, we made a running joke for a long time that it was never included on a CD. Rob actually did a little disc called Bulldozer Not Included because it was the running gag that it was the song that never made the disc. I had a version of that too. My song Phantom never made an ilyAIMY disc. It eventually went on mine, where just you can't quite get it the way you want, and then it becomes like almost a point of bizarre pride nope, you don't get it. You don't get to have it. So we finally decide we're gonna do it. And this was the birth of the ilyAIMY term whaley whales. We are fun in the studio.
No, we're a nightmare in the
We're
studio.
a nightmare in the studio. We're a lot better than we used to be, man. But yes, Rob would direct me and say things like, whaley whales, do whaley whales. By which he means big background vocal improvisational stuff.
Those chunklets, make them bigger.
No, the chunklets were about when we needed to do punches. A chunklet is a punch. Lest we ever take ourselves too seriously.
And all those men, they frighten me with their talk of cars and guns. And I was hoping you might comfort me with sense and eyes and skin. Breathing is the moment, it's the moment held inside of you. It's the purging of the past, so when I lie beside you breathing, the moment is all I ask. Yeah, the moment is all I ask. Oh, those men, they frighten me when they talk their righteous talk. They took out of church my grandfather's spring. And hush now, baby, you know they cannot bulldoze everything. Your hair, I hold you here in my heart. I ask you to hold me there as well. I'm weeping. It's like this satin is slipping glass. It's like this moment is slipping past. This moment is all I have. Yeah, the moment is all I have. Sharp with shatter silence and sharp with shatters bone. I sense frustration aimed you underestimated. I'm cutting up the time like a clock. Keep your voice beneath me. Oh, I know it keeps your breathing easy, but keep your voice beneath me, because to me you know you still are breathing. You know you are breathing. Oh, yeah, you know you're breathing. Yeah, you know you're breathing. Breathing. Oh, 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 you frighten me with your talk of boys and fun. And I was hoping you might cover me. I was hoping you might cover me. I was hoping you might breathe with me. I was hoping you might breathe. Partially written and inspired by an incident in college where we had been studying how urban planning worked in the real world, I guess. And we had been meeting with a woman who had been organizing her church. And we went and talked to some of the people in the community after being told about how, like, you know, they were really excited about the fact that we were going to be wiping out this ugly strip mall and replacing it with a library. And my friend little Michael was really good at talking to other people. And so he would wander off and go talk to people who were actually working in the strip mall. And they were like, well, actually, this is the only source for jobs in this entire neighborhood. And so when they wipe that out, we're not quite sure what anyone's going to do for, employment or for money. And they're sentencing us to welfare and maybe starvation if they wipe this out. And so we've been organizing at this local church to stop this from happening. And suddenly this was a whole new light on how this council person was fighting so hard to get rid of, you know, the lifeblood of this community. And so they were organizing a lot of resistance about this and a lot of votes and things like that. And so the council person did not manage to wipe out their strip mall at first. What they did instead was they routed a new thoroughfare through the parking lot of the church, made it illegal to park around the church, and wiped out their ability to meet there. So then they got their strip mall knocked out. Just in case you think this shit is new.
What is new is my playing percussion on this song, new to the tune of, like, you know, at the time I think I had just started being more comfortable with djembe. I believe this is this is the first album on which I played percussion. Maybe, I don't know. It may very well be the first album on which I played percussion, which, considering the way things would go, is kind of nuts. Let alone playing with brushes. What?
This song was originally written for a song prompt.
Yes. Oh my God. I completely forgot about that until you just said it. Ryan Fitzsimmons, a bunch of you in the folk community may know, Ryan Fitzsimmons used to run a singer-songwriter night at AS220 in Providence. And we loved going up there. And he would do this monthly songwriting thing where the audience picked the challenge, and the songwriter was told and given a month to get ready to do it and had to do it as part of their set. So
I was starved for inspiration. Fortunately,
not fortunately, watch how you phrase this.
Inspiration came in the form of our car crash. And I became very inspired by the fact that our vehicle had not been halved, had not been quartered. It just lost 6 inches off the front, and yet that was enough to make it no longer a viable running car.
And it was Ryan Fitzsimmons' Songs Challenge that inspired the one we then ran with here at home, that now is in its, like, third life or something. You're doing the songwriting prompts again. So
maybe next week. Well, we'll see how that goes. I could imagine, like, whipping out some brand new stuff next week as we sit around.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And there's a reason that this is Rob's Lament with a capital R, but I'm not going to get into that right now. This space is getting smaller now. In an instant, inward goes the frame. Schwartz chair will be proud of this compression of his equation. As we tighten up our grip, as we tighten up our eyes, as we tighten up our belts, the space is buckling all the while. There's a hairline at the corner, it's forming into a fracture. She's already cursing and I'm just looking up. The space is getting smaller now. I know you know that I had dreamed of something bigger. For all these dreams and all the wilds and all the songs and all the miles, this dream will lose some inches at 60 miles an hour. And fracture, stress, and structure, the cylinders are trembling. There's something stealing hungry and it's coming through the hood. And I don't think it's known how a car is like a gun, but exploding gets you nowhere. See, it's all under control. Halfway out it falls back in, and I am falling in again. Yes, I am falling in again. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. I've been focused all the while, yeah, on the dreams and on the miles, never noting that emotion was what carried us so far. So it's the silence of the start, before the molecules were moving. They've been shot into the silence here, from which nothing can depart. This space is resting silent now. Schwartz, yeah, we'll be proud, 'cause we didn't even have it. Those 6 inches held the whole, yeah. It's all the hearts of stars. They don't speak of souls or sons. We'll cut it out and crush it, yeah. The physics always wins. It's a hairline at the corner, where the dreams are leaking out. She's already cracking, I'm already angry, I'm just sitting looking out. It's a hairline at the corner, the dreams are leaking out. She's already cracking, I'm just sitting looking out. I like hearing you play.
Oh, are we?
Oh, yeah.
I have like 3 bug candles near Kristen, and I have one behind me.
Well, we're sweating the gunk off.
Shh, don't tell the bugs.
Oh, don't tell the bugs. Right.
No buggy telling. How you guys doing out there?
I know we're definitely moving. You know, we're moving along.
What you trying to say?
Well, no, I'm just conscious of, like, for those of you who don't know us, if anyone's tuned in who's never, they're like, what is this fifth circle thing? Who was this ilyAIMY? ilyAIMY, it stands for I love you and I miss you. And
yes,
if you
David, sorry you did miss in the water, but you know what? This will play back when we're done.
If I press the right buttons.
Yes, don't be mean to the people.
I'm just being mean to Dave.
I'm
The
looking
key
to
is
see-
not doing anything else. It's when you screw with it that's a problem. You'll be fine. You'll be fine, baby. Press the button. This is cool. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, for those of you who don't know us, this is just being a particularly nostalgic night. So we're chatty, and that's okay. We're telling you all the backstory. I hope that you are appreciating it. If not, well, just tuck it away, squirrel the information away, because every once in a while we do iLY trivia. You don't want to fail with iLY trivia, because once we're not quarantined anymore, we'll come to your house and we'll pound that knowledge into you.
And if anybody has actual questions about anything with the album, I have someone ask me a question on, and I've put the light directly in front of the set list now, so forgive me as I do this. 2 songs from now, somebody once asked me a question that was a really interesting question, and I'll get to that when we get to that song. But if you guys have questions about the songs or the album or anything like that, we are happy to talk to you. Good. Tania Gale says she loves the stories. So again, if you have questions.
Well, good. I'm glad you're tuned in. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, you can tip us if you're enjoying it and you're like, man, I wish that I had paid a ticket to watch this. I wish that I had shoved money into their palms. I wish there was some sort of sweaty experience in which I could reenact the moment at which I place wads of 20s into Rob's back pocket.
Guess what?
You can sort of do that.
I have a fun...
I wish I had an overlay. I'd be like...
I have a fun historical note for Strain. Strain...
Tipping first. Let's finish this discussion about the tipping. So, yeah, Venmo at ilytips. Hey.
Oh.
And paypal.me/ilyAIMY, and we greatly appreciate that. Because you remember how that thing happened and we don't have any gigs anymore? Well, that thing happened and we've got like a gig left.
Tick, tick, tick. This song, specifically one line from this song, is what Rob gave me as an audition to join ilyAIMY.
That's true.
Because his primary concern was,
can you keep up?
could I keep up with the words? The line is, the rats all mutter in the gutter and the sewer in the wash is a rat race home.
And now I can't even say it myself, so,
The student has become the master.
It's a song that I wrote after I quit teaching high school, and my friend, who had been selling books at Borders, well, I went and took her job, and she went and taught high school. And I had my concerns about it. This is also a song for my Volkswagen bus, Amalthea.
Man, that might be the nerdiest thing you have ever said.
Left undone, a chord fragmented, left unsung. City born and city bred, love to come die in that quick city. The rats all the mutter and the gutter and the sewer and the rush is a rat race home. As a beast of burden, I carry my weight. Maybe I try too hard.
Teacher!
Back in the woods on a woodblock trail, working hard like an animal should be. Write my songs in a backwoods bedroom. I ignore the snore of the clock here. I've been dead for the past 6 days. That's more than Lazarus ever could claim. Back from the dead now, look at me. I'm as strong as I ever thought I could be. Some people are better off dead. Some people shouldn't try so hard. They could, then they would, but they can't, so they won't. Send them back where they come from. Send them back where they come from. Don't let them settle with these others now could become. No, no, no. Well, maybe it's the clock here that keeps the blood going. Here I thought it was my anger or my rage or my father or my sex drive something. Well, maybe it's the fear of the gear and accompanying arm and the passage of time and age and life vitality strife. Maybe it's the blood that keeps the heart pumping. Pump, pump. People can't be left behind now that they've tried so hard. Just cause they haven't doesn't mean that they won't. So you know you can rest here. So you know you can rest here. Don't let them bring down the bird that you now have become. No, no, no. think they can break you. Maybe you believe that they can. I know that they tried so fucking hard on me. But I found that direction I was headed when I took a left, turning at the wrong right turn. I spent a year lightheaded, now better headed. Things get a little bit overcome. This isn't what you're here for, you were meant to go somewhere. Never what you were meant to do, you never should have had to deal with all this. This isn't what you're here for, you were meant to go somewhere. Never what you were meant to do, you never should have had to deal with all this. Strain, strain, yeah. Strain, strain, yeah. Left undone, the chord fragmented, but at least it's sung. City born and city bred, looks like I'm dying that slow suburban death. The rats all the mutter and the rat and the rest of the rat race home. As a beast of burden, I carry my weight. Baby, I can help you home. Love you. Help you home. I help you home.
You have to wear the wig. I wish we had one.
Sorry, I'm getting all hot and sticky.
The women remember the song better.
Sorry, I was
the
too busy
women.
kicking you.
I know. That's why I was like, stop it.
I know. I was supposed to pay attention to the song and not the thing. I know. Okay, so we placed the lights in a... Well, no. I placed the light in a bad position. What do we got left? Oh.
Will.
Yes.
Katie in
I love
Missouri
this
would like to
song.
know the story behind Will.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you should do that.
The story behind Will. So we're going back into these old enough songs that I'm throwing a lot of things together. Especially when I started. I mean, still I'm this way. But especially when I started, I was kind of just throwing whatever was in my head and whatever emotions were in my head at any given time into a song and sort of putting it all together and just shoving it out there. As an artist, like I started out as a drawer, and that's how I got into high school, was as a
really?
drawer. And so I was a very focused, like cross-hatching and very careful shading and this very tight movement. And then I discovered painting, and this is broader movements and it's a lot faster. And then I discovered sculpture, which is this like very visceral thing, and I was going through some stuff. And so I was sculpting out of, I'm so angsty. I was so angsty. I was sculpting with broken glass, and I was building these gigantic gargoyles out of broken glass and 2x4s and shards of metal and stuff like that. And it was like, I was into the fact that it was bleeding and it was painful. And so I was building these things. And somewhere in there, I guess I discovered playing guitar. And the visceral nature of playing guitar, the physicality of it took sculpture, and it took the imagery that could be so much broader. A drawing always has these edges. They've got these framed edges, and you've got to stop at the edge of the drawing, lest your teachers yell at you for drawing on the easel or whatever. And so I was getting into installation work and the concept that stories were painting a broader picture. And so the physicality of this tearing at the guitar, really, along with the storytelling aspect and having a broader portrait or a broader painting palette came together, and I was writing these songs, just throwing things at the canvas metaphorically now. And Will was one of those very, very first things where there was just a lot of things going on. I remember there had been flooding in the harbor, but not like we get nowadays. And I remember
viscerally being aware that like the wet dog smell that Baltimore gets when the water comes up, and dead fish and everything like that, and I was smitten with a woman, probably the woman who taught me my first couple chords, and she metaphorically was someone who I was sometimes feeling guilty about dragging down by standing on her shoulders to create this music, and sometimes feeling like she was pulling me down because I was never going to be good enough. And so this mixture of like walking on water and drowning and all this stuff going on, and so visualizing these storms, I guess that's what goes into it. I know that's not a very satisfying sort of structure for, this is the tale of this song, but especially back then, these songs are just these whirlwinds of stuff going into me trying to just keep myself afloat mentally.
And then we would go on tour, and I would meet the people in the songs, like Mary.
Yeah.
I would meet the Mary from the song, and that's
She was
surreal.
badass.
Yeah, I really liked Mary a lot.
She taught us about frying basil.
That's right.
So there's a lot that goes into the song, and I could probably tell that story 17 times and think of like a different aspect, a different thing to come into it. That song breaks guitars. This song breaks guitars. And I've actually changed substantially the way I play because of moving over to carbon fiber from wood. Here, let's get nerdy for a sec. So the carbon fiber guitar, it's very strong, but it's kind of brittle. And
Nothing is stronger than Rob.
and so the wood guitars I was playing, well, when I hit that harmonic in the bend in Will, the neck bends. It's wood, so it's pliant. And I bend the neck, and I was really into these neck bends, and I still really enjoy them. But I've tried to eliminate them from my lexicon a little bit, because when you bend the neck on a carbon fiber guitar, this doesn't bend. This bends. And when the top bends, it flexes the bridge slowly, and slowly the epoxy there breaks off. And every once in a while, every 5 years so far, this comes flying off in dramatic fashion, and it's quite awful.
Generally not in the middle of one of our shows. I don't know that I have
And actually, I
seen
guess it's
that
3.5
occur.
years.
No,
No,
it did.
it happened in the place where we can't talk about.
Guest services.
We were guest services.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. You don't get to hear about that.
It was quite dramatic and not good for anyone involved. So this is a song called Will. Rain came down, backwashing alleyways, drowning men out of holes. The water ran red as people lost skin, and a frightened young man, he looked down upon his toes. He's in danger of getting his feet so wet. Ships are tossing down in the harbor. The wind is raising, the rain is pounding down. Ships are sinking down in the harbor as the waves come up. They climb past the dikes and they climb past the fence posts. They suck past the sentries. They lap the locked iron doors as the rain's came down, down, down. These are the martyrs, and these are our prayers, and these are our lives. Down in the harbor there forms a storm that could wipe us all clean of life. Stick tight now and close your eyes now and hope this storm pass you by. Then came a woman, a hero, a martyr. We called her Mary, she needed no comfort.
down on the harbor, she walked in the sky. She walked on waves, she walked on water. These are the martyrs, and these are our prayers, and these are our lives. They're given to us to do it as we see so fit. Rest assured that I will. Rest assured that we will. Rest assured that we will. Rest assured that we will. With a 6-foot frame, she walked on the ocean floor. She shone like copper with a 6-foot frame. She walked in the sun, she walked far too high to see. And she asked me to walk with her, 6 foot tall with her. She turned to me and whispered, don't fear the storm. The water is 6 foot deep. People in the mud, another 6 foot under. It's a struggle, such a struggle to keep my head above water. And I'm clinging on to Mary's shoulders now. Standing up on Mary's shoulders now. Weighing down on Mary's shoulders. Yeah, she drowns. These are the martyrs, and these are our prayers. And these are our lives, they're given to us to do it as we see so fit. Rest assured that I will. Rest assured that I will. Rest assured that I will. Rest assured that I will.
I'll bet.
A lot more ring. Yeah, I broke out the djembe and I felt like it was appropriate. You know? Holy crap.
Hey, Ben. It's good to hear from you.
It's really nice to hear from you.
So I've been slowly dumping 20 years of photographs up onto my Google Drive, and that means it's been showing up as a screensaver on our television. And for whatever reason, our time with Ben, the Bens actually, hanging out in Concord, North Carolina at the George Washington Bar, or whatever it was called, there's so many photographs of all of us hanging out, swapping guitars back and forth, and you sort of smiling. Ben, it's good to have you in the audience tonight.
What's going on? What? Oh, it's
letters.
we, I believe, have 2 songs left.
Yes. I think that's right.
We have 2 songs left. One is quiet, and then we're gonna go super big and figure that if the neighbors call the cops, we're gonna basically just about be done.
Who asked
The neighbors usually come and sit. They didn't tonight.
Well,
But
people
they-
are away on vacation. And stuff.
yes.
So,
I'm very aware of getting sticky. Yeah, I'm getting sloppier and stickier, and it's gross.
oh, I'm tuning the wrong string. All right. So the thing that someone asked me about this, PJ, who's maybe on here somewhere.
He just said letters from the front.
Yep. PJ, when we were all brand new to each other, once asked me a question about this song. And the question PJ asked me was, did I write this song to Kristen when she joined the band? Because it distinctly is sort of the resolving and the patching up of ties between three people who are clearly having problems. And the funny thing was, we were never those people. We all became what we are way after all that stuff was put in the ground.
Heather asked Kristen to join the band.
I did. So this actually comes from a time when there was just a lot of sort of infighting and difficulty, and nobody quite knew how things were going to shake out. And it was written after the legitimate actual purchase of a Che Guevara t-shirt. The first line is exactly what I felt and probably wrote in a diary entry. I bought a Che Guevara t-shirt and vowed my revolution. You know,
Man, I feel bad because that was a really intense part of time and everything like that. I bet that t-shirt was so hot on you.
I don't even have it anymore.
Don't mind me.
It's fine. We can all appreciate Heather's hotness.
I know. We can. It's all right. I'm appreciating that, like, actually the lights are probably set up a little bit more for me than they are for you, audience, which I apologize for. Because for you, are beautifully sculpted. There's just these amazing, like, highlights and shadows and just curve. It's really nice. So I'm happy right now. I hope that you guys are happy. But this is, like, an intense aesthetic experience. I can't even see the camera anymore, but, like...
So yeah, I did buy a Che Guevara t-shirt, and this was really a song about the fact that I was not good at making the tough call. When I was young, I was not good at it. I very much had a wait and see attitude. You know, people talk about those things. If you could say one thing, if you could go back to your past self and say one thing, what would you say? Overwhelmingly, I think the same thing all the time. What I would say to my young self was be brave. You know, be brave. This comes from that.
Bought a Che Guevara t-shirt and vowed my revolution, but I have yet to wear it. It's still hanging in my closet beside the blue jeans I had on when we abandoned our stalemate. I know they're the ones that still ammunition in the pocket. And grass stains on my knees would have been easier by bayonet by bullet instead of by degrees. But we always were so stubborn, waiting on the wait and see. No stomach for execution. Language of pine cones and razor blades, codes unbreakable. This flesh can only take so much, like the paper of our letters, like the jeans that are my uniform. We got weaker than we think, more used up than we know, and worn out at the knees. Would have been easier by bayonet by bullet instead of by degrees. We always were so stubborn, waiting on the wait and see. No stomach for execution. peace of armistice from these battles in our hearts. No one gets away, no one gets their way. We are the POWs of our abbreviated sin, wielding our grenades with all the pins half in. And we got down upon our knees. Would have been easier by bayonet, by bullet, set of pedigrees. But we always were so stubborn, waiting on the wait and see, waiting on the wait and see. No stomach for execution. One more song.
What?
Thank you, Miss Heather.
Oh,
Is there?
no, Deborah asked if the cello was single. Well, I do have two of them.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I thought she meant like the cellist.
They know better.
All right. So we have turned our album into a 2-hour album.
I think, well, we have added lots of commentary, but also we played everything a lot
This is the
slower.
director's cut.
Now I wanna
We're gonna
watch
go
Lord of the Rings.
big, we're gonna say fuck, and then we're gonna get the hell inside
Well, all my stuff's out here, though.
after.
Okay, yeah. Nothing to say about this song. Other than it's obvious why we were never able to play this in the coffee house scene. Spent 8 hours driving yesterday. Seems only 4 spent moving. Yeah, I spent since Friday on the road and roaring, and since this morning I've been stalled. It's been 5 days since I last touched these strings. That momentum could be hard to break. I spend so much time so crunched up and cramped, I feel like screaming. Yeah, I feel like screaming. Spent 5 years waiting for this day. When I'll be leaving, I'll be strutting when I'm leaving. I spent 5 years waiting for this release, and release it is. I've gained nothing since sometimes I did, and I'm better than I was before. When in truth, and now I'm simply very, very, very poor. Tippling! fucker seems so very distressed. That fucker does nothing. That fucker seems so very impressed. Maybe that fucker would be better off dead. The streets are clogged with the useless. Twice stand to nothing more. Once cause born, twice cause living. Thrice goddamn cause they love their story to each other. Thrice blessed and I bless my soul. I can heave myself up out of this hole. I count once cause born, twice cause living, and I count you as I'm blessed thrice. Yeah, I count you as I'm blessed thrice. And I count you as I'm blessed thrice. Sorry, I got the hook in the butt like
I warned him.
3 times
I warned
during that
him.
song. Everything was
I
fine.
thought there was a bug or something.
but
But
it had been going so well, and then 3 times during that song, it was just like.
Were you blessed? Were you counted thrice?
I was counted thrice all up in there. It was right up in there. And actually, I think, yeah, there's a hole in these pants, so it was invasive.
Whoa.
And
It normally holds a plant.
the hook, not my hole. We have been ilyAIMY. It stands for I love you and I miss you. And thank you for bearing with our songs and our stories this evening. And thank you to the neighbors for putting up with us a little bit later than we normally roll. But
And if you do want to get the recorded version, I feel we must acknowledge the 2 missing band members that were on that album and made it awesome. Sharif Kellogg and Rowan Corbett. We love them and we miss them, but you can hear them on the album.
with Rowan Corbett, we'll actually be playing a socially distanced farm gig on Saturday in the Frederick area. Hit up ilyAIMY.com for more information about that. I think there's some RSVP spots left, but of course we've got to keep it pretty limited.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much for listening, and hope to see you again. What?
Little plug, last plug.
Yeah.
So the album that I released 10 years ago on Friday is going to go back up on Bandcamp. It is unavailable to date anywhere on the internet, and it will be re-available for the first time.
You may not date it.
Haha. On Bandcamp at Heather Aubrey Lloyd. So if you want to hear some more songs about,
I recorded that album.
Rob did record that
Really good.
album.
It's really good. It's one of my favorite Heather vocals ever, period.
Thank you. It is particularly, looking back on it, I have an affection
It's
for
my
it.
miking. It was really good.
Yeah, it's always really good.
But yeah. Anyways, I think that's enough. Unless you want to, no, I think he just ran off again. Anyways, that was a 14-year-old.
Wait, is that a child?
Nah, he ran down the stairs. Which is the way children are, right? They make an escape. Wait, no, that's
Wait, who is
that's
it?
your husband.
Not
That's
not
your
the child, it's
husband.
the husband.
Oh, well. Anyways, it's close enough. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are ilyAIMY from Baltimore, Maryland, and we're stuck here, so I hope you keep tuning in. We do this every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and good night.